and whether they're really necessary at all. And that is the subject of Crosstalk tonight. But first, some background on it from David Goldstein.
They are innocent bystanders killed in the high-speed pursuit of justice.
Oh, my dad. Don't even believe this is happening.
Elizabeth and Rosalie Cordova can't hold back the tears. Just 48 hours ago, their father Quentin was innocently driving to work, but his life ended when his car was rammed by a stolen car suspect being chased by police.
Well, the cops have never been chasing him so far. They should have just let him go. For just for a car, you know, stolen car, please. Took my father's life for that.
What's even sadder is that a total of 7 innocent people have been killed in police pursuits in the Southland in just the past 2 weeks. 8 others have been injured. All this is prompting a call by some to finally put an end to high-speed chases.
I'm for not having pursuits at all.
Cal State Fullerton criminology professor James Lasley is a consultant for LAPD. He says the pursuit should end because many times the officers are just too interested in catching the suspects, less interested in innocent bystanders.
A lot of times the adrenaline kicks in, the expectations of the officer to successfully resolve a situation is taken into consideration, and some of the safety factors may be overlooked.
But not every pursuit ends in tragedy. This chase down the Harbor Freeway this afternoon culminated with the suspects being arrested without any accident. An LAPD chopper was overhead to keep an eye on the situation. That's department policy whenever possible. CHP follows the same guidelines and says the recent rash of deaths is just overblown by the media. They point to last year's statistics. Of 967 pursuits, there were 11 deaths, a little over 1%. 140 people were injured. Nationwide, it's estimated there were at least 300 deaths last year as a result of pursuits. But officials say they can't call off the chase.
Can you imagine the chaos that would occur if criminals knew all they had to do was just push down on the accelerator and therefore they were going to be able to get away in every happenstance?
It's a debate that neither side can win when the race for justice takes the life of an innocent victim. In Los Angeles, David Goldstein, Channel 9 News.
Some cities around the country have banned police pursuits, but almost all of those cities eventually have brought them back. Pat?
Well, David, should police continue high-speed chases on busy streets and highways? Or are these high-speed pursuits an unnecessary danger to innocent drivers and pedestrians? That is the subject of tonight's Crosstalk. And joining us in our newsroom, attorney Thomas Beck, who believes police chases are unnecessary and life-threatening. He says they should be stopped. Also joining us, Pasadena Police Chief Jerry Oliver. He believes some pursuits are necessary and that the decision on whether to embark on a chase should be left up to the officer. Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Chief Oliver, we'll start with you. 7 people have been killed in pursuits in the last 2 weeks alone. On the surface, it would seem like we have a big problem here. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure if we have a big problem. I think it's unfortunate that these situations have happened at this time. But I do believe that high-speed pursuits, vehicle pursuits, and emergency responses by police officers are a dangerous but absolutely necessary part of our business, but one in which we need to highly regulate and highly control and highly train the officers in response policy and response tactics.
Well, Mr. Beck, after listening to Chief Oliver, you can't just let a criminal go because he's driving fast. What do you suggest police do?
Well, my feeling is that the regulations that the chief is talking about should be well enforced. I mean, every department has a policy, but it seems to me that they don't follow it. The recent examples that we've seen in the news are demonstrations of where the departments don't follow the regulations they have in place, and safety has been put aside for other considerations.
All right. Do you know of any particular incidents, Mr. Beck, that you can tell us about here where you feel the policy was not put in place?
Well, in all the cases that I've become familiar with in the news recently are situations where none of the suspects were serious felony suspects. One of the primary considerations is that there has to be a serious crime either in progress or just occurred, and that suspect has to be a danger to public. That none of these cases was that particular situation.
Chief Oliver?
Well, the need to apprehend versus the need for public safety is always at the forefront of the officer's mind. I disagree with counsel that says that many of the cases where the officers violated policy In most of the situations, all our officers do follow the policy. The problem is that these pursuits at 80, 90 miles per hour only last 2 or 3 minutes before sometimes it's a crash, and deadly force is used.
Mr. Beck, is there an instance where you feel that a hot pursuit is necessary?
Well, yeah, I'm sure there is situations you could think of. I mean, obviously, if a person is committed a very serious crime and is posing an immediate danger to some other people, a hostage situation, for example, then I could understand a pursuit. But if it can't be done in a very short period of time, and the longer the pursuit takes, obviously, the greater the dangers to the people surrounding the pursuit, the greater the number of officers get in it, and the harder it is to terminate. Those are the situations that the policies tend to call for, but aren't subscribed to.
So it seems to me that you're saying that you feel a chase should be called off after a certain length of time.
Well, if it's not done very quickly, I'm not suggesting that they don't begin pursuits in all cases where it can be done very rapidly, but if it becomes like the recent chases, where it goes on for miles and very high speeds and congested metropolitan areas as opposed to highways, chances are very good they're going to hurt somebody the longer it goes, and it should be called off.
Chief Oliver, we've heard about this adrenaline factor in the Chase report preceding this discussion. Are there times when an officer's judgment is impaired during a high-speed chase?
Well, I think there might be some cases. I wouldn't argue the negative, but I would simply just say that I believe that most officers are reticent and reluctant to get involved in pursuits. They understand that when that vehicle is traveling at a high rate of speed, that it is a lethal weapon. And the same principles that control the use of their sidearm controls their judgment and their thinking about using a high-speed vehicle. It's it's a bad pursuit until it's made well by the officers involved.
All right, we have very little time left. Chief, I'll ask you for some closing statements, like if you're implementing a special policy in Pasadena Police Department.
We are revising our policy in Pasadena, but it's not a revision that would affect the pursuits that are going on now. We're just refining it, making sure that we get our helicopters and other specialized units involved at an earlier time in the pursuits.
All right, Mr. Beck, any recourse that you have to see that other departments are following procedure?
Well, obviously, it's up to supervision to ensure that whatever policy they have is affected, and it's immediately the responsibility of the supervisors that are on the scene and in command of that pursuit.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both for joining us and shedding your opinions and some light on the subject on Crosstalk.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, what a debut tonight. A young Southland boxer gets in the ring for his first professional fight. And he sure doesn't waste any time.